about accounting. So, I think everyone knows accounting is the most exciting topic anyway, right? So, really what we're going to be talking about is making smarter business decisions. When you're running a business, that means you're going to be making a lot of decisions. And for a lot of people, that can be exhilarating. It's being in charge of your life and being in charge of your business, but it can also be incredibly stressful. And making informed decisions, not only means that you're more likely making smarter business decisions, but it also is going to give you the confidence that you're doing the right thing. Now, obviously, you're never going to have 100% perfect information. So you're having that intuition or trusting, your instincts, that still matters, but it can't be the only thing that you're relying on. So, we're going to talk about, financial visibility, and that means looking ahead. Warren Buffett has a quote where he says, "In business, the rear view is always clearer than the windshield." And what he means by that is it's a lot easier to look backwards and see what your company has done, for the last month, for the last year. But being able to look forward and know the direction your business is going, that's much more difficult. And the problem is being able to look forward is really what you need to run your business. So when we talk about financial visibility, what we're talking about is your financial data is accurate, timely, relevant, and insightful. So you need all four of those aspects within the financial data that you're looking at in order to make these smart business decisions. So I'm going to be talking about kind of 4 critical mistakes a lot of new small business owners make. Honestly, I would say a lot of business owners that have been around for a long time also, make these mistakes a lot. It's something that we get called in quite frequently where they're struggling with one of these, or they're struggling with something, and a lot of times it's because they don't have one of these 4 things in place. So let's kind of go through each one of these mistakes. So the first mistake is simply not establishing a budget, but also then not tracking, your variances against your budget. So there's a common misconception about budgeting that a budget is just telling you what you can and what you can't spend, but it's really much more than that. We always want to stress that when you create a budget, you want to start with your profit goal. So at the end of the year, how much profit do you want to make? Now, for a lot of startups or companies that are just getting started, profit, having a positive profit might not be, in the cards, but you might be looking at it as, okay, for this year, I can't lose more than $50,000, or I can't lose more than $10,000. Whatever that number is that you feel like you have to be at to continue into the next year, that's your starting point. So then you're going to estimate, your revenue for the year. Or if you're a pre-revenue company, you're going to estimate how much money do you think I raise this year in investment money coming into my company. So if you know that number, the money coming in, and you know where you have to be at the end, kind of what's left is telling you then how much you can spend. And so now you've got, let's use round numbers. You're going to say, I don't want to lose $50,000, or I can't lose more than $50,000 this year. I also think I'm going to be able to bring in $50,000 of investment money. Did I lose the screen sharing? All right, there it goes. So what that tells us is you can spend $100,000 and still hit your goal. So now the next step is figuring out what's most critical to you. Where is the most value in spending that $100,000? And you start allocating that money to these different places. You're going to get the most bang for your buck. But you can't stop there. So what you have to realize is this is your roadmap to success. If you could follow that budget, month by month, week by week, you're going to achieve your goal. So if you just do a budget, like this is what I need to do, and then you put it away in a drawer, and then check it at the end of the year, it's not really as useful to you. The next thing, managing cash flow. So on this slide we say payroll, but really it just substitute whatever your top cash outlay priority is. So if you're only looking to see if you can cover that next payment, you're really not looking out far enough. If I told you, you're going to have to pay $50,000 10 weeks from now, how many people feel like you could actually come up with a plan to make that happen? But what if I asked you for $50,000 tomorrow? That's going to be a lot tougher to come up with a plan. Your options are extremely limited when you've got a narrower time frame. So always being able to look ahead and plan makes for smarter decisions about your course of action. The third mistake is just that inability to view key financial data on a weekly basis. Now, we all know having accurate and timely financial statements is important, but decisions aren't made on a monthly basis. They're something that's always happening. So you have to be able to review things on a constant basis. For me personally, I run my own business as well. So I run the Seattle and Tacoma Now CFO practice. And I can tell you, every Sunday night, I'm looking at my own dashboard. It's telling me what we did last week, what we're forecasting for the next week. It's got the metrics that are important to me. What's my employee utilization? What's our AR at? What are our collections? What sales meetings do we have on the calendar for the next week? And we take these metrics and we can put them into a single number where I can just look at that number and say, okay, we're looking good, or we did great, or maybe we're lagging behind in one key area. And you don't just take that one number like, oh well, I missed it, so I'll do better. Now you can start to drill down, like, okay, why were we weak in this area? Let's figure it out and see how we can do better the next week. And it's just this constant review. So I really recommend figure out what metrics are driving your business and make it a point to review and analyze those metrics on a constant basis. And then the fourth mistake is, this is really the heart of what we're talking about. It's not just about maintaining your books or making sure that your tax return gets filed at the end of the year. It's actually taking your financial information and using it to run your business. That's what we call management accounting. So, when we talk about budgeting and cash flow forecasts and dashboards, that's essentially taking the financial accounting side of things, taking the data and putting it into a form that is useful for you to manage your business. It's to, like I've been saying, to make smarter business decisions. And that's really what it's all about, having the proper mindset. Nobody goes into business to do accounting, right? Everyone's got these great ideas about what they want to do and they're excited about it. And the accounting side of things is just something that has to get done. But what I want to encourage everyone is to understand that the information you're getting out of your accounting is crucial to running your business. It's something that's going to really guide you every step of the way, having that information at your fingertips. And now I would be remiss to not mention to an audience of founders and people involved in startups, that Now CFO also helps with raising capital. So we believe in these kind of three steps: the discovery, the development, and the delivery. And obviously, there's a lot of things that go into each of those steps. But we really believe that having relevant and insightful financial data, it's going to drive a lot of what you're looking at in each one of those steps. So the discovery or the development, having a cohesive, concise, and compelling investment thesis. You have to understand your financial situation in order to develop that investment thesis. So finally, I just kind of think about the way that you run your business right now. What is really guiding your decision making? What are you basing it on? And how can you do better? So several people have mentioned the swag bags or the treasure chest. Basically, every one of these slides that I had on here that talked about these different things, we've got more in-depth presentations and webinars about each one of those topics. So if you go check out our goodie bag, there's going to be links in there. You can get more information on each one of those. But I've also made appointments available on Calendly that if you want to learn more about any of these things, or if you want to just talk about it with me, I'd love to learn about how I can create a rolling 13-week cash flow forecast. I'd be happy to sit down with you and go through the process and tell you what's important and how you might want to structure it. And of course, these are all over Zoom, so you can anywhere all around the world. Feel free to schedule an appointment. And one last thing, added bonus: first 10 people to schedule an appointment with me, I'll send you one of my favorite business books. Whether you want that in Audible format or actual hardcover type book, happy to send that to you.
Bill, thank you so much. I mean, this is amazing.
No, thank you. I appreciate you giving me the time, and we're always happy to be one of the sponsors here at Founders Live. Going on 4 years here with it. Love being a part of it.
Yeah, well, thank you again.